This is CW Sports.
CW Sports live in Avondale, Arizona. 30 minutes from the city, Phoenix Raceway, hosting NASCAR this weekend as we begin the West Coast swing. The stars of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series are out. There's Austin Hill, won the season opener at Daytona. He is the championship leader. How about a couple of champs? William Byron is back. Won here in 2017, a pair of victories in the Desert for Allgaier, who got the title here a couple of years ago. Great day for practice and qualifying. Race coverage tomorrow on CW, 6:30 Eastern Time. And we are all set and ready to go, and happy to have you with us in the broadcast booth with Parker Kligerman, Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander, and this is where I'm contractually obligated to say Jamie Mack won here in 2004.
We don't have to always bring that up.
It was so long ago, most don't remember. Don't worry about it.
I was about 4 years old, I think.
Hey, there was a lot of attrition in that race, okay? Now that we got that out of the way, you look at the early part of 2026, a couple of races in the draft, last week racing on the road at Circuit of the Americas. What does Phoenix bring? Kind of our first traditional oval.
Well, I think everyone in the garage feels the same way that we do, like finally to somewhat of a regular racetrack. You mentioned a 1 mile flat oval, been at the 2 drafting tracks, and you know, for all those guys that didn't get a good finish, not always of their doing, and then going to the road course, obviously I think everyone thought that Connor and Shane were going to be the cars to beat. Finally, we get back to something normal.
Yeah, what is traditional about this one? It's a shortcut.
Yeah, the fact that you don't use 40% of the track.
Yeah, it's one of the most unique ovals in all of NASCAR here, with the shortcut dog leg, whatever you want to call it, is so odd. But Adam, one of the best guys here, that car right there.
I was going to say, you know what's traditional about Phoenix? Is the 7 car and Justin Allgaier running up front.
He's won here twice, but that's not really the stat to pay attention to. He's led 813 laps at this racetrack, second only to none other than the dominator of the O'Reilly Series. That is Kyle Busch, who's won here 11 times. When you come to Phoenix in this series, you know if you want to win here, it's going to go through that guy in the 7, Justin Allgaier.
There are some days, though, where he has experienced major heartbreak here. And I just rewind to a year ago, has the race under control, leads 130 laps, get a caution late, we go to overtime, and it doesn't work out for him. 2 years ago, dominates the race, has the tire issue late, so he's won here twice, leads every statistical category when you look at active drivers. However, there are a few that have gotten away.
So cool thing about this weekend, we got IndyCar here with NASCAR at the same time. We got Austin Hill on track, and this is a look back when he hit the inside wall. We've all thought about it, Jamie, but no one had ever really done it. I think it's, you know, one of those things where it's so blind as you go off in that corner behind other cars, that wall sort of sticks out. You want to get as close to as you can. There's grip down that paint, and Austin just completely misjudged it, and he admitted to that afterwards. Don't want to do that again, but he went out here immediately, and the reason
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned IndyCars, everyone in the garage was talking about IndyCar's been out here for 3 practice sessions, a qualifying session. Their rubber's on the track. What is that going to do? Some think maybe it adds grip. Some think maybe this will have less grip. But if you think about it, this is how they're going to start tomorrow for the race.
Yeah, and I somewhat like the idea that RCR has sent 1 car out and Jesse Love's still sitting in the garage area. So maybe you get a read on that of, well, here's what we thought it did. Jesse Love's going to go out and get a good read once that rubber's picked up. It'll only take about 10 minutes, I think, for the track to get cleaned off and back to what they're going to have, you know, 15 or 20 laps into the race.
Okay, get out your pencil and paper, because we've had a shift in the roster again.
This is hard on us.
It is
hard.
But Raja Carruth, who drove the 88 for Junior Motorsports first 3 races of the year and is going to do it most of 2026, the next 3 weeks in this partnership they've developed with Jordan Anderson Racing, is going to drive that 32. He's off to a great start. And then you couple that with what this 32 car has done the last few weeks with Jordan driving and Ross Chastain the last couple of weeks. I have high hopes for the driver who's been good here in Truck Series.
I was concerned for Raja at the beginning of the year, going from a JRM car, you know, over to Jordan Anderson Racing, and how that was going to work. But you mentioned it, the fact that this car has been quick every single week, 3 top 10s to start the season. So I think he's in a good place here, and see what he can have.
I think it's a big opportunity for Raja in that, you know, if he's in that 88 and goes out and has a really good year, right? That's impressive,
Expected.
but it's expected.
Yeah.
When he does big things in this car for Jordan Anderson Racing, and not to put them down by any means, they've made massive improvements in investment this offseason in doing an alliance with RCR. I just think that will be something that people look at as, wow, he's not
stick out more.
Yeah, he's not only able to do it at JRM, but also here for Jordan Anderson Racing.
Let's get a report on driver 32 and say good afternoon to Dylan Welch. What's going on, Dylan?
Hey, Adam, and hey, guys upstairs. Well, you know, as Raja continues to embark on his first full season in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, it's worth noting that he does have a couple starts here. He did make a handful of starts last year, including for Jordan Anderson Racing, and he's raced here at Phoenix a couple of times. So I spoke to him earlier today, and he said as he kind of makes this transition over to start his foray into this 32 car this year, said having some experience in race laps already at this racetrack is going to help him a lot, he feels like. Also is really excited for the two logos on this race car, the iRacing logo and the NASCAR 25 logo. We've talked a lot about Raj and how he's a big sim racer. He loves video games and loves playing the NASCAR games, so he was pretty excited to have both of those logos on his car today, and kind of called it a full circle moment for him.
You know, Jeb Burton leads the way, so that the team car is at the top in practice. And if you go down to the garage area, all the teams park together with their teammates based on points. First, RCR, next, Junior Motorsports, then it's the Haas factory team, and next, Jordan Anderson Racing right in front of Hendrick Motorsports. A nice moment for that team. And an organization that needs a bounce back. Sam Hunt Racing, we're riding here with the driver of the 24, Harrison Burton.
Yeah, I had a long chat with Harrison. This is a cool shot, by the way, this Toyota Racing onboard. Love that one down to the left. But I had a long talk with him about how tough a start to this season they've had. He's 34th in points right now. Not the way you want to start a season here, especially in this new chase format, where it really is a culmination of your average finish throughout this season that gives you the chance. Can make a little brake bias adjustment there to the down to the right. You saw Harrison do that. But he said, you know, I'm not down. The team's not down. We've had pretty good speed places. Those are unique tracks. He said, I'm very excited to be here, but we've got to finally turn it around.
You know, if you go back a year ago, he started racing with AM, and there were question marks about where can this team go. Came out strong with back-to-back top 10s, and that's the unfortunate thing about the schedule we talked about on those two drafting tracks up front. It can be great, you can overachieve, or you can immediately put yourself behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Daytona and Atlanta are two that you can just get behind, even if you've run well, you know, 90% of the race, you can get behind. And he had high hopes heading into this year. He thought he had bettered himself, right? As a driver, you're just always trying to get in a better car, in a better position. And he felt like this is going to be a better position, and it hasn't been a great start. It has been a great start for Jeb Burton, though, in practice. He sits top of the board. It's not just one lap. I've watched consistently that car has put together really good laps here.
Yeah, he's got 4 of the fastest laps so far right now, and we were talking to him earlier in the garage, and he was like, I don't know what we're going to have, but with that new alliance of RCR, he was really interested to see what kind of speed they'd have here at Jordan Anderson Racing. You know he's pumped right now. If he stays up there, a lot of people will hear about it.
It'd be the second time this year that he's led practice at Daytona as well. Jeb Burton showing the way, and there's the boss, Jordan Anderson, who was top 5 in that race at Daytona. It's one of the great scenes in all of NASCAR. Phoenix Raceway hosting this weekend. One car, Carson Kvapil, is on track, and I referenced earlier with Raja and some of these drivers moving around each week. We documented the situation for Carson Kvapil last week driving the 91. It was a JRM car, but going out under the Mario Gosselin DGM umbrella. And here he is back in the 1 for Junior Motorsports, one of 10 drivers that's in a different car this week compared to what they were driving at COTA a week ago.
Yeah, he didn't get the results he wanted last week, but he ran exceptionally well in the race. Good in practice, good in qualifying, got some stage points. Is that a different paint scheme?
Man, that's a damn good-looking car.
It's awesome looking.
I was just enamored with it right now, especially the sun.
It's different than normal, right?
It is, yeah, it's totally different.
Good.
The Dayglow orange just pops. I love that.
I think they refer to that as Hunter Orange.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Well, you were sponsored by them.
Yeah.
He had a great rookie season, a part of the championship 4, never got to victory lane. Had that number 1 pit stall, and we thought that would really do some things. Didn't ultimately have the night that he wanted. Came up short in his bid for a championship. But I think making the championship 4 was a nice way to pay off a solid rookie campaign.
I think that, and it also did wonders for him to have a shot this year. We know there was a lot of conversation about, maybe not performing the level of expectation that people were hoping to see out of Carson last season, but becoming a part of that championship 4 and just what he had to do to rise up and be a part of that, I think was big in giving him this opportunity. You got more, Kim?
Yeah, it's interesting you guys mentioned that championship 4 appearance, and that's exactly what Carson brought up in the garage with me when I was talking to him earlier today. He said he did so much prep for that championship race last year that the load was much lighter coming into this weekend to prepare himself. He said he felt like he had so much knowledge having to prepare for that championship race. And then, of course, Rodney Childers on the box. And I joked with Rodney, I said, is any of your Cup stuff going to transfer over to the O'Reilly Series? And he said, I don't know, kind of coyly with a smile. Because remember, Rodney had ultimate success here with his driver on the Cup side, Kevin Harvick, but they are back in kill mode. Carson said, I did what I need to do at COTA, earned the points, and now we are here back in the seat of the 1 trying to win this race.
Well, that's the one thing they've done a really good job of this year, regardless if he's driving the 1 or the 91, is go out and get stage points, something that you have to do. And Kim referenced Rodney Childers, and you look at those numbers for Childers and Harvick here in the SHR days, it's like they're not real. 21 consecutive top 10 finishes. That's the most by a driver at a track. And in their first 5 races together here, I think they won 4 of them, second in the other one, and led like over 1,000 laps, I think it was. Just remarkable.
Well, they definitely did a great job together. This is a really good track for Kevin. We take a look here. Brent Cruz, so young, 17 years old. So young, he's not even going to be able to race the next few weeks.
That's mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well, you almost wish you'd go 4 straight and then just pick up. The fact that he gets to race last week, COTA this weekend, and then take a couple more off is just, I hate that for him.
Added tremendous restart.
Yeah, leading some laps last week. He did a really good job. Had a lot of track time at COTA though, in Trans Am cars and other cars. A little contact here with Sheldon Creed. Saw that a lot at COTA.
I thought it was
the field.
I thought it was interesting though in talking to Seth Chapka down there, the crew chief. He said originally our plan was run it long in the stages and get stage points. And then we decided, you know what, we're going to flip a stage to get him some track position and see how he can manage things at the front with guys like Connor and SVG. Did an unbelievable job leading laps. And, well, I'll tell you, we're going to be talking about him a lot throughout his career, Dylan.
Yeah, and I was going to kind of echo that same thing. I had a similar conversation with him, and he said, you know, we do have a lot of points to make up, but I feel like being at the front and just working on his racecraft with the guys that can win week in and week out, that's going to be way more beneficial to his development at this stage than points racing earlier in the year. So I think we all know and expect Brent to be able to run up front really at just about every place he goes. And I think if you do that, the points will take care of themselves, and you don't really have to worry about points racing per se. So we saw that in action last week in race 1.
I thought that was an interesting call, though. You know, we thought at the time maybe they would go for the points just with the deficit of missing races. But Seth pointed out, he's like, hey, we need 30-point days, and we're pretty sure we're going to make the chase, no problem. And putting him up front also just lets him in his debut get the TV time, all the, you know, the hype around him to be validated, all those things. So I thought that was smart. He changed my mind, even though I thought they probably should have went for points. But they did, obviously had a great race. Fun fact about Seth, did you guys know this? He grew up in Alaska and ended up in NASCAR. I think that's super cool.
And it's all worked out for him.
Yeah, went to Saul Racing in a former SAE program in college with Justin Alexander and Luke Lambert and those guys. Asked them after they were getting done with college, he said, what are you guys going to do next? He said, we're going to work in racing. He said, that sounds cool.
I'm in.
And now he's a crew chief at Joe Gibbs Racing. I think that's
great
super
story.
cool. And if you're young and want to be a part of this sport, former SAE can lead to this.
Well, this guy here has been in the news, and not necessarily always for the right reasons. Corey's had plenty of issues on the track, but talked to him earlier today and feel good about where his head's at. And I think he knows where he's been in the wrong. You see, taking a look right here. This is at Daytona, first race of the year, a little bit of contact. This is Atlanta early on in the race. Ryan Sieg was very frustrated with what Corey Day did here. Had a flat tire, so he gets into essentially one of his teammates. And again, another teammate. And I think this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
This is the one that really was just a step too far.
Yeah, and we heard Dale Jr. reference that, you know, Rick and he, everyone has sat down with Corey and the team, and the results are there. The speed is there. I mean, he's got 2 top 5s in the 3 races, and I think his performance has been above what anyone expected at this point in the year. He just has to figure out the limits of his car, and he talked about that earlier today with us of just, you know, listen, I'm just experiencing things, and it's happening faster. And he's like, I'm running up front, and he's like, so I in critical or different level.
I think he was remarkably calm, understood the situation, you know, even had a call from Rick, which he said was terrifying, of course.
I can only imagine.
To get a call from Rick Hendrick when you're early on in your career and you have this massive opportunity. But I felt like coming out of that conversation we had with him, he gets it. And he knows he's got the speed. He's just got to clean some things up. And I think that's easier than trying to say, hey, it's not like he's wrecking in 25th. It's not like he's wrecking in qualifying, which we see often these sprint car guys, USAC midget guys come in here. They don't understand the heaviness of the car. They wreck in qualifying, trying to go too fast or get too much out of the car.
And they're just mistakes.
Yeah.
It's not like it's malicious going and tearing stuff up. They're just mistakes that he's making, and it's frustrating for the guys that, like, I know Sieg's mad, and I would be too if I was in that position, but he's a rookie, and we've all made them. Everyone's done it.
And there's some jealousy. You know, there's definitely some guys in this garage who are seeing the opportunity he's getting, thinking, I want that opportunity.
Yeah, that should be me.
Why does he get that opportunity?
That's right.
Of course, so that, you know, their perception is going to be skewed a little bit, but I just felt like he understood that, and I loved his comment when he was like, I knew I didn't want to be the guy wrecking in qualifying and in practice. And
I saved it all for the race.
I saved it for the race. No, but I think he knows running up front, that's the thing that can help him solve it. Hey, Jamie, they got red again for you.
Well,
we know this
I
is
can
William
tell you
Byron
that
in the 88.
not only are the 3 of us thrilled, the production crew is thrilled that they have put some different markings on this car. So we know that this is William Byron this weekend. Might be one of our 3 picks for maybe the race win tomorrow.
Bearing the lead.
A lot of different practice agendas here. Some going out early on that IndyCar rubber, others waiting. Hard to make a lot of what we see on the practice sheet. Let's get now some radio for Team 41 here.
Just at the slow RPM, or when you got up to speed, I was still doing it?
It was still doing it. I was trying to rev the motor and everything too. Nothing I did worked. It was actually worse to the right than the left, for whatever that's worth.
We're going to have to probably change the power steering pump. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, so you heard it there. They are changing a power steering pump on the 41. Interesting because their teammate Sheldon Creed last week also had a power steering issue in the race. So not sure if those are related somehow or not, but 2 weeks in a row for the Haas factory group, they're having to diagnose some power steering issues.
Good news for them, it's a 50-minute practice session. So maybe that buys you a little bit of time. You know, so much of the time a year ago, we had 2 25-minute sessions divided into 2 groups.
Yep.
And if you had an issue, you just really didn't have an opportunity to recover. Now we've gone to this format where at all the ovals we're going to run a 50-minute practice. If you have an issue, you can still get out there. Top 5 right now: Burton, Hill, Thompson, Harrison Burton, Raja Carew. Jeb leading the way in practice at Phoenix.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. It's a beautiful day here at Avondale, Arizona. The sun just now starting to dip behind the grandstands. The lights will come on shortly, but you see Austin Hill here. They're working on minor adjustments for him. Phoenix has been just an okay racetrack for Austin, and when I was talking to crew chief Chad Haney earlier today, he told me how hard they worked over the winter alongside the 2 team to try to dial in what the 21 needs. Remember, Jesse Love winning the race here to win the championship, and he said Danny and Jesse were a huge help, but it's more than just putting what Jesse had in their car, because he noted Austin is 90 pounds heavier, so the cars react a little bit differently, but they do think they dialed it in a little bit closer to what Austin wants. Here was Austin's feedback from the first run.
Overall, I have really good turn-in security on the light side, turning into 1 as the run goes. I don't ever feel like I get loose, but I just feel like I have a moment where I have to kind of catch the car just for a split second, then straighten up the wheel, and then entry to 3, although that's fine. As soon as I kind of land down into the corner, I get a little bit tight with the fronts, and then it kind of carries the rest of the way, but overall it's not bad.
Well, that's pretty typical here, especially that loose into one. That's something you'll fight often the way this racetrack is, and you sort of fall into the corner there, being such a flat corner. You're braking as you turn, so the car has a bunch of front-end load, so the front tires are really activated, and then you sort of get down the corner. So you're always going to fight that a little bit, but you also, for 3, want to have a little bit more rearward brake bias, just the nature of that corner, because you can brake in more of a straight line. So you're always kind of having trade-offs here, Jamie, I feel like, in terms of what you can get out of the car to make it good in 1, but also be good in 3.
The one thing I'd be concerned with 2021 is they went out immediately, and it was on all the IndyCar rubber. And when you look at the lap times of the top 5, all those guys went out, and they were the first cars to hit the track. Typically, the track's always a little quicker when you first pull out, but I think the IndyCar rubbers played a role in that. I would probably be more concerned with the balance of my car towards the end of this run, knowing that rubber's cleaned off and where I'm at. But he seemed pretty happy, and I feel like as you listen to drivers, when they say a little bit, that's good, right? It's not dramatic. They just need small adjustment.
I think we got our answer on the IndyCar rubber. It's got grip.
Lots of grip. Yeah.
Lots of grip. That's going to make the start of the race tomorrow very interesting.
Saw the mixed bag of results for Sammy Smith out of the gates in 2026. 2 top 5s.
Way more good than bad.
The tire issue he had at Atlanta. But he was running great there. And you could make an argument that he's been, well, shoot, you just look at the points. I mean, he's right there where he needs to be, and coming to a track where he's won before. First career victory came here a few years ago as a rookie. And you see Corey Shea on the right, and you never know when you go through a crew chief change what that's going to equal. Corey doing it, for the first time full time. But so far, these two seem to be really switched on the same page and producing positive results on track.
Well, you said, it's been a great start to the year, and he ran well at Atlanta. There's nothing you can do. A little contact, cut that tire down, and obviously ended their day. But Sammy's had speed, and you have to feel good at it when you come to a track that you've not only run well at, but you're a past winner at. And knowing how well JRM has run here over the past 5 or 6 years, it's a great combination for a great result.
We were talking about Sam Mayer, and Dylan did the report, and we heard the radio with the power steering, and you see they continue to work here. Let's go back to when he was going to go out, make a practice run, get things underway in this session, and he's already fighting it big time. Knew something was wrong here.
Back to you here, boys.
He was trying to break this down and was referencing that it was harder to turn to the right than it was to the left. And when that's functioning properly, it's, I won't say effortless, but it's super smooth and very consistent. And if you have a problem immediately leaving pit road, you're best off to come in, fix that, try to get the car right, because that's going to be way more important than the balance of your car.
And the steering systems are fairly complex in these cars in terms of how they actually connect to the front and where they run through the firewall there, basically. So there's a lot of areas where they can get clamped or pinched. So you want to make sure that's not the case. We look at this in pit road. Oh, my goodness.
Joey Gase in the 55 coming in. Sammy Smith going out.
Yeah, it's not happy.
There.
You know what? Usually in practice, getting near any other car is a hairy moment, but on pit road, you don't expect that.
Hey, I know that we've talked about the scoring pylon and our bumper and the fact that maybe, some of the guys are at the front were unsure how all those speeds will hold up because of the rubber that was laid down by IndyCar and the grip it provides. So we're still sorting through all the data to figure out who's really got the best car here in practice. But one thing for sure, impressive start to the weekend for Chandler Smith. He's 6 right now. He's won here in everything. ARCA trucks, got an O'Reilly win a few years ago driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, and looking really good first of 2 consecutive weeks in this 5 car. Let's rewind and watch him go to victory lane.
Well, guess what? He was in a Gibbs car, Jamie, and they've won here a couple times.
Yeah, the odds are in your favor if you're in a
18 wins for Joe Gibbs here in the O'Reilly Series at Phoenix. Basically anyone who's gotten one of these, but he is really good here. But it's obvious, Gibbs really has his place figured out. I think this is impressive for Hettinger Racing. Missed the race last week. Big, unfortunate for this new team. But for him to be in this car this week and next week, it's awesome for them to get the chance to get someone who's won O'Reilly races, is winning the Truck Series, to come in here, evaluate the program, help them move forward a little bit. And impressive speed so far right here in practice.
Yeah, won the season opener in trucks at Daytona in dramatic fashion, and leads the championship chase there after 3 weeks' time. Jeff Burton leading practice at Phoenix. 21 minutes to go on CW.
Jesse Love has staked his claim as the one to beat.
It's time to decide a champion. Battle for the race lead, 25 to go. Jesse Love, Zilich hanging in that outside lane, but Love able to slide up in front of his best friend and take the top spot. He now controls the way to a championship. It is a storybook ending. Jesse Love wins at Phoenix, and he is the 2025 Xfinity Series champion.
Yeah, Jimmy, baby! I told you could do it. You're a champion, young man. You are a champion.
15 years to see all coming together. 15 years of experience in one race.
It still doesn't feel real. I've never had a feeling like this before. Maybe because I've tried to see what it was going to feel like all week. And now that I'm here, I just can't believe it.
That was a cool thing to witness. We had a front row seat in November, and watching it back this week in preparation for tomorrow's race, it was just great to relive that and all the emotion that comes with winning a championship.
And I don't think anybody had him picked as the champion. I come in here, Allgaier and Zilich would have been obviously in front of him, but he and Danny Stockman put it together. It's a great track for Jesse in general, but man, to be able to win at Daytona the first race of the year and then come here, the most important race of your career, and be able to put it all together, it was awesome.
I think it was an impressive performance from just the whole team, the organization. We talked to Danny Stockman for a long time today, and just how much effort they put into that weekend and rose up when it mattered most, and that's what that format was about, right? You can hate the game, not the player, in that respect, in terms of people felt like maybe they didn't deserve that championship, but in the format they were given, they rose up when it mattered most. One of the more impressive performances in that playoff format I think we've seen in this series, and forever now will be known as champion.
Something Danny said to me, he said the last couple of times I've talked to him, but he referenced, throughout his career, he's only been able to spend a year or 2 years the most with any driver, and then they move on to the Cup Series. And he talked about this third year that he was going to cherish it, not just because of the time that he's been able to spend with Jesse and how well they know each other, but Jesse's work ethic, what he puts into it, that when they show up to the track, they feel like there's no one more prepared to go out and win than those two, and they're working well together, and they're coming off a championship, and they're hungry for more.
Tremendous driver crew chief combination there. And the same in the 54 camp. When you talk about Taylor Gray and the guy calling the shots for him, the best all time on the pit box in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and that being Jason Ratcliffe. And you look at 15 lap average in this practice, probably the best way to measure who's got it for tomorrow. And leading in that category is Taylor Gray. In fact, he's right in front of his teammate, Brent Cruz, the 17-year-old, second on the long run in practice.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that 15 lap average, you either want to be at a Gibbs car or be related to the Burton family. Be in good shape right there. It does show, though. I think.
What about Carson Wappel? Where does he fit into that?
Poor Carson. Yeah, he's an odd man out. But you're right. I mean, the 15 lap average is a great reference. Those first couple of laps, depending on where the air pressure is or where you went out with this rubber that was laid down, this all kind of equals out. And I talked to Jason Ratcliffe earlier today, and he felt really good about this team, where they are at this track, the fact that they were able to win the stage. Last time we were here, had speed, just had to put the whole weekend together. Get a good look at all the work that Taylor's doing inside the car. That's a really long corner. We were talking about that, Parker. You get to the gas so early, the corner just continues to go on, and you have to drive way, way up the racetrack. It feels like inside of the car, and you're just right on edge.
One of the oddest corners you'll ever experience on an oval.
Parker said he loves it.
I can't stand that corner. If this track was only turns 1 and 2, I was a top 3 guy. Down there, I was barely top 25 probably.
Dean Thompson, 26, continues to be toward the top of the board in practice, Kim.
Yeah, and he's actually back out on the racetrack after coming in and having engine tuners look under the hood. During that first run, he said the balance is solid, but towards the end of the run, he felt like something was wrong with the engine, so did bring it down. They opened up the hood, checked all the plug wires. All of the engine tuners said the cylinders look okay, so they let it cool off. They're going to come and run probably 10 to 15 laps just to make sure that nothing else feels weird to Dean. Chris Bowen saying we just need to make sure we don't need to change a carburetor or something. Right now, Dean giving no feedback. And then you guys are talking about that rubber. Dean was one of the few drivers I did hear talk about the rubber. He said if he gets in the rubber, he just feels like he gets lost in it.
Whoa, got a fine. if you get lost in it.
Yeah, we better figure that out.
Yeah,
Stay out of it.
Find where you're at.
You know, we've talked about drivers that have dealt with their fair share of problems here in practice, whether it's handling or otherwise, and we did want to make a note that Sam Mayer has been able to find his way to the track. 11 laps he's put up now, so they're getting some good work in after they were fighting that power steering issue. 14 minutes, just under 14 minutes to go in practice. Qualifying still to come for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. It's Jeb Burton showing away in Phoenix. We have a new race fan in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, cheering for Josh Bilicki this weekend. He and his bride welcome their second. And here he is. You know, they live in Wisconsin, and it's been a busy time at their household because they had their first.
There you go.
Just over a year ago. So they have officially gone from zone to man-to-man. 2 at home changes the game. Congratulations to everybody, and great pictures, and there you see the numbers. Blake Robert. How about it?
It's about as tall as Jamie.
Hey, I'll say this, though.
That was better than you give credit.
As Parker.
I'm just so happy that Josh is here full time and driving for Bobby Dotter. And you guys are mean to each other. Do you have any idea how much more difficult it is to do this job when the two of you are to my right? You know what I mean?
Let's move on to Anthony.
Oh,
How's that sound?
Here's
That sounds great.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's a story that we didn't anticipate for the weekend, but Anthony Alfredo doing double duty, going to drive the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports on Sunday. Alex Bowman, you know, he got out of the car at COTA, and we just thought maybe, you know, he got hot. We didn't know exactly what the situation was. Dealing with vertigo, it was announced
scary.
yesterday, big time. And so he is not going to race on the Cup side this weekend. And Alfredo, who does all the sim work for HMS, is going to hop behind the wheel of the 48 car.
Well, it's super sad for Alex. That's scary. Hopefully he can get better. But I can tell you that Anthony's got to be just nervous as can be. The fact that you're getting that opportunity to make your first Cup start, and it's not just in any car, it's in a spectacular car that you know has potential of winning the race on Sunday. I got to think that the nerves are at an all-time high for Anthony.
You know, and he's done, obviously, Cup starts and some other equipment, but I think, you know, he's been doing that sim testing for Hendrick for a couple years now, and that's like his day job, basically, in terms of how much time he spends. He's told me his days, you know, he'll be there before the sun rises and won't be out of that place till the sun is set long ago. And that's what he does day after day for Hendrick. And this is something that I think the last few years, a lot of the Cup teams have gotten, you know, started investing in, is having backup plans, right? Having a driver roster that maybe isn't in your, you know, within your actual racing equipment on every week, but is in the sims, you know, working with the teams, understands how they operate, so that if you run into an issue like this, you have someone who understands how your process is and how the team works.
And I think it's the way the schedule is this weekend, it works in Anthony's favor. If you had to get out of one car or the other, then back in and go back and forth, to me that would make the weekend much more challenging. The fact that we're going to have practice qualifying today for the O'Reilly Series, and then tomorrow he can focus on the Cup car before the race here, I think that is an advantage for him versus having to go back and forth.
Anytime you see Anthony Alfredo in the garage, just as nice a guy, great personality, and so it'll be interesting to watch him handle the weekend. Here we are in Phoenix, one of the great sports cities in the country, buzzing with a lot of activity for baseball with spring training. And TPC Scottsdale, Jamie McMurray shot a 74 there one time.
And he's a big Hole 16 fan.
Yeah.
CW Sports live in Avondale, Arizona. It's practice for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. We're at Phoenix Raceway, first of 2 events in a row out west. Next Saturday, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 18 Williams Sawalich. A lot of success here. One here in ARCA West. You know, I was talking to Jeff Mendering about their start. They really have not gotten the payoff, but last week, after 2 rough rides at Daytona and Atlanta, you just destroy the front end of that car on the opening lap at COTA, and you're like, here we go again. Battle back for a top 10. It's got to provide some momentum as they come here to a track where he's had some really good moments.
Well, and we've talked about it here. This is just a great track for Joe Gibbs Racing. The fact that he's been able to win here and in one of these cars. Last week was big, though. I remember watching that. I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's going to happen again to them, having that damage early on. But they persevered and were able to get a good run out of it. He's run a lot of laps here, 41 laps he's running this practice. That's about as much as we've seen anybody run.
You know, and Jeff reminded me, you can't always look at the box score, because last year William here qualified 6th. They had to change something in the car, so he started at the rear, even though he had a good qualifying run, drove through the field, got a speeding penalty, had to go to the back again, and so had a really fast car here a season ago. And Parker Retzloff, you talk about those that have stepped it up with a new opportunity, been really good with Vikings so far, top 10 in points, 2nd at Atlanta, matched his career best.
Was right there in the thick of it. Atlanta once again in the spring. Just came up one short behind Sheldon Creed. But you have to think with this opportunity, Viking Motorsports, the RCR Alliance, adding Anthony Alfredo and the 96 car. You know, there might be some growing pains here in these first few months of going to 2 cars and working that alliance, but I just would, you know, they've had a good start. I'd keep an eye on that whole organization as we get through the midpoint of this season, because I think we could start to see some really good runs out of them.
You've tainted my perception of this car, because you said AC Delco.
I keep thinking it
today,
isn't.
And that's all I see right now. Every time I look, yes.
I think about 2 RCR.
I know.
Yeah.
I see those colors, and to a certain extent that scheme, and that's all I can think of.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder what Johnny Sauter's doing this afternoon.
That's right. That's right. He's watching the distributor wire and cable car.
If he's watching us, Johnny, come on, man. You know?
I like what I'm seeing out of the
We're
2
quality entertainment. Thank you very much.
He's run 40 laps here, and just looking at his lap times, about as quick as anybody we've seen on that amount of laps on tires. This has been such a good track for him. You see him searching around, continuing trying to find grip on all the
bottom right here.
all the way down on the apron.
You know what impressed me when they won the championship, won the race here in the fall, was that he fell back early in stage 1, didn't lose his mind. They eventually got back up there, and then, you know, he lost the lead on that restart late. And when that happened in the final stage, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to get away from him. But you know what? Again, stay right in the game and persevered over the long haul. He showed a lot that night.
That's what made it so special that night. The fact that he was able to lose the lead and then drive back, catch Connor Zilich, and pass him, not only for the win of the race, but to win the championship. I mean, there's just, that had to be such a moment for him inside of the car to be able to pull that off.
LeVar Scott, you see him coming through the garage, and he is just lit up like a Christmas tree. And everybody around him does the same thing. He is so fun and entertaining and doing a really good job so far for Alpha Prime.
He made me laugh so hard today when we were talking to him, because you asked him about going back to school, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember. And he's like, yeah, taking that math class, I don't want to take. I'm like, oh,
we can all
understand what you're saying, absolutely.
Yeah, he's doing college part-time. I mean, his family, who was into racing, said, we want to make sure you go do the racing thing, but you get your education. And just across the board, a fun guy to be around, and one of the great competitors for Rookie of the Year.
And his spotter is actually his team owner, Tommy Joe Martins, which Tommy had a nice comment. He's like, you know, if there's a wreck or anything happens, it's my fault. And I was like, that's perfect. Great situation for a rookie driver, being owner's the spotter. Anything goes wrong, hey, bud,
it's your fault.
Yeah, what were you doing up there?
Ryan Sieg, top 5 here a season ago. And you remember in the fall, he was driving the 41 because Sam Mayer had been suspended, and I thought he was going to go out and have a great run. And unfortunately, he was wrecked in that championship race. But this is the kind of track where you feel like he can make something happen, and had that tremendous comeback to begin 2026 when he finished 3rd at Daytona.
And I know we were joking around with him that weekend that was the weekend he was finally going to get that win, was when he wasn't in his family-owned car, that he's been so close so many times in this 39 to winning a race. I think back to Texas a couple years ago, Sam Mayer beat him there.
That was just mean.
Oh, that's one that has to hurt. But you got to think there's going to be an opportunity here for this 39 to get in victory lane. He's been so close so many times.
Tim?
Yeah, so coming into this practice, we talked about the IndyCar rubber that had been laid down, how it was going to affect the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series cars, and the crew chiefs welcomed that because tomorrow we will run after the IndyCar race. So some of the feedback I've heard, including from Austin Hill, a lot of people saying the track changed tremendously from the first run until the second half of practice. In fact, some drivers feeling like the rubber from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series cars was laying on top of the IndyCar rubber, making it feel really greasy, was the feedback I was hearing most often.
Well, the one thing about traditionally when the track rubber's in, it loses grip. At an older racetrack, it always has the most grip when it's green or is clean. And as it lays down and it gets dark like that, you'll actually chase the gray because that's where the grip is. It's just so different being on IndyCar rubber. Like we don't experience that very often, and it's a totally different compound tire, and so you're just trying to figure out what's my balance going to be when I get in it, and at what point does it transition.
Many years ago, I was racing open wheel cars. We were there with ALMS, which was on Michelin rubber, and this tire engineer explained to me how different tire manufacturers don't know how their rubber's going to interact, and you can imagine that sometimes one tire lays the rubber into the racetrack, that next tire doesn't gel with that rubber. It almost skips across it like oil and water. They won't mix. That's when you have the feeling of greasiness, what they're talking about, where it's laying on top. It can be high grip to start, but then as this Goodyear rubber lays on top of that IndyCar rubber, you actually end up with sort of a difference in rubber on top of each other and makes it very low grip. That's your science corner for the show.
I'm not going to analyze grip and tire rubber, but here's my advice. Qualify up front, create margin for error, stay in the game stage 1, and then take care of business from there.
Mind-blowing.
Qualifying comes your way next on CW. Qualifying on deck, practice done for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series here at Phoenix Raceway. Top 10, what an interesting mix you have here. Jeb Burton leads the way. He put that lap down very early in the session. Austin Hill was good. You got the drivers there from Sam Hunt Racing. Raja Carruth driving for Jordan Anderson this weekend in the 32. Hettinger gets a nice pop from Chandler Smith. And you know there's going to be some representation from Joe Gibbs Racing, Taylor Gray, and Brent Cruz in the top 10 with our reigning champ, Jesse Love. Let's get a report from downstairs. Here's Dylan Welch.
Yeah, let's hear from some drivers here before we qualify. William Byron down in just 27th here in the 88 car. So I know that doesn't always tell the story. So what kind of things were you guys working through, and what did you think initially of the IndyCar rubber that was on the racetrack and how that impacted things?
Yeah, it was unique for sure. I think the rubber just honestly was a little bit surprising. The track had a lot of pace to get going. We waited like 10 minutes, and so the pace slowly fell out of the track. But then for me, I just was on the splitter really hard getting going. I probably should have come in, but just kept running it out and trying to feel it out. So yeah, we'll get it up off of that, and yeah, overall the car felt good. Just trying to get back used to it and kind of the braking and everything. So a lot for me to learn so far, but these guys will get it dialed in and it'll be fun. Qualifying, I'm kind of curious how much grip there will be, but yeah, just thanks to HendrickCars.com, Dale Jr., Junior Motorsports, Mr. Hendrick. Everybody. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, William. Yeah, starting to get cool down here as well, so that'll be interesting, Kim, to see how it impacts grip levels as well.
Well, Dylan, Nick Sanchez, 7th on the board during practice, but hung up the helmet after 24 laps. So what did you learn about your race car?
Yeah, I think a lot of things, and obviously the transition to day to night at Phoenix is something we're going to fight tomorrow, but I think my Paynuity Travel Curious Ford Mustang was pretty fast, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. A lot of firsts. Filling the car out with a new team, but I would say I'm pretty happy and looking forward to qualifying in the race.
There we go. Nick Sanchez had that top 5 run at Atlanta, looking for more of the same this weekend here at Phoenix with AM Racing. You know what this guy's doing?
It's Johnny Sauter.
Nah, he's watching on the CW app.
Oh, of course.
Give me more Parker.
What kind of batteries that guy got on the back?
No. He's watching Jamie McMurray.
I needed that thing yesterday, actually. Kim referenced the fact the sun is going down here outside of Phoenix in Avondale, Arizona. What a great Friday evening as we anticipate qualifying for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
That's pretty.
Yeah. Dylan said it's getting cooler.
It is.
You got to adjust to a changing track. Here's the graph from practice.
And speaking of pretty, I'm going to explain why here, but if you look at the left side of the graph, you see Quapple in the red, Love in the white. They didn't quite have the lap times that Hill and Burton had on that IndyCar rubber to fire off, but as you watch, this story just gets prettier and prettier for Jesse Love and Carson Quapple as they stay low in the red and the white. They pretty low. Love looks really good around the lap 30 mark, and then Love went out for a last run there around 35 to 40 some odd laps where he looks really fast. This is the type of thing that Danny Stockman, Jesse Love's crew chief's looking at and thinking, I like the trend of that graph.
Oh, this is what you live and die by in the garage area. You'll look at this, compare yourself to all the other drivers, and this will either make you sleep really well or keep you up all night wondering what we're going to do to make our car better for the race tomorrow.
What's up, Dylan?
Let's check in with Sam Mayer here as he looks over some data. And we told you about the power steering challenges that they were experiencing there. Sounds like it is still something that is causing some concern. It hasn't entirely been fixed yet. So explain what you were feeling there and maybe what you guys are trying to do to correct it here before qualifying.
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer. We cost ourselves about 10 minutes, too, by not going out right away trying to watch. But, yeah, we fired off practice and just had no power steering at all, which isn't the most fun in these cars. So I was willing to kind of tough it out just to get a couple laps. But, I mean, fixing it's obviously smart. So we went out and tried to fix it. Still had some issues, which I don't even know if we know the answer yet. So hopefully we can get those things ironed out. But, I mean, everyone on Haas factory team, I trust them to death. So I'm not too worried about it, but this Audubon Chevy needs some help, so we're gonna have to wait and see how it goes.
Thanks, Sam. So if you remember last year, they had a speeding penalty in the middle of the race and were able to drive back through the field. So if that is what it comes down to tomorrow, maybe not all hope lost for the 41. Qualifying coming up next in Phoenix.
NASCAR has made their way west. Cup cars racing here on Sunday. Practice qualifying NASCAR on Prime tomorrow noon Eastern time. Coverage for our O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race on CW begins with NASCAR Countdown Live at 6:30, racing at 7:30. And there's the Cup race on FS1 Sunday afternoon at 3:30. For the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, it's time to qualify. Who gets the pole for round 4? Find out next. We're live on CW on a Friday afternoon in the desert. Just a 30-minute drive from downtown Phoenix is Phoenix Raceway.
It's a gorgeous day here in the Valley of the Sun.
Welcome to the desert.
Going to be an exciting afternoon of racing.
This is a completely different style of racing these drivers are going to have to deal with.
It's anything but normal.
They're going to have to try to do this today on a very unique racetrack.
Getting our rhythm here.
Big crash!
Oh my gosh.
Big wreck down the backstretch.
Go, 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 go.
The track nearly blocked.
Unbelievable. We're done.
You can feel the buzz.
You're done, boys. Go get this damn thing.
If that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will.
It's a fun racetrack, and I should point out that Phoenix, the first of 4 in a row, when you look at the schedule of tracks that we'll see again in the fall in the chase. In fact, 5 of the next 6 we'll see with a championship on the line. And when you talk about characteristics of this place, 2 words that always come out: track position. Qualifying up front here is so important. First to get on it. Man that missed the show last week, Circuit of the Americas, Josh Williams.
Right, and he's got a tall hill to climb right here, being first car out. You've got a lot of rubber on this racetrack after a 50-minute practice. That was all the conversation between the IndyCar rubber and the grip level once the Goodyear rubber laid on top of that. And being the first car out historically is not great. We're going into nighttime. This track's only going to gain grip. So this is going to be a really tough lap to extract a really good lap time for Josh Williams.
And this will be, I love qualifying at night. The fact that these guys, like when practice started, the lights are coming on right now, the sun's going down, and you mentioned it, the grip level going up. It's just the most thrilling lap you get to run the entire weekend.
Josh was 19th in practice, ran a 28:15, qualifying 1 round, 1 lap.
Oh, he's really fighting that thing on the exit of the corner.
28:70.
Yeah, that's going to be disappointing. I'm telling you, that IndyCar rubber that they went out on had a lot of grip. I know we heard guys talking about it feeling greasy, but when you look at the lap times that they ran in practice, extremely fast for race trim runs. I think if any of these guys that went out early on that IndyCar rubber can duplicate what they ran on their race run and qualifying, they're going to be happy.
I don't think we're going to get to it, personally.
You don't think we'll get to what?
To those lap times. I think this track has lost a tremendous amount of grip from the Goodyear rubber being laid down on top of it. I'll be surprised, especially not these early cars. I think these early cars have a really tall task right there, as we saw that lap time from Josh Williams. We'll see if Daniel Dye is able to do it. Oh, big slide off of 4. I think that's going to be a consistent theme, but I think this track is really greasy.
Mention the fact 1 round, 1 lap. 40 cars here, 38 make the show. 2 go home, 32 get in on speed. So if you beat 8, you know you'll race here tomorrow.
Well, tracker's going the right way for him. It's been trending the right way. He's going to get close to running. Actually, he might be a little bit better than what he ran in practice. See him back the corner up there. You saw the tracker get worse. He gets back to the throttle. really driving that car on the exit of the corner and runs exactly what he ran in practice.
Unbelievable. 28.40, 28.40, top of the board. Daniel Dye. Here's Kim Kuhn.
And Harrison Burton had top 5 speed in practice. So as we look at qualifying, what's the key to making speed at Phoenix?
I think entry speed, right? I mean, these corners are so long, especially 1 and 2. When you drive in there, you kind of have to be able to drive in really hard and wrap the bottom tight. So a lot of commitment. Hope the car sticks. The track was way slick at the end of practice. So excited to jump in this Sharp Dex Imaging GR Supra and try and put a good lap down.
Entry speed. All right.
Hey, this has been a good track for Harrison, though. You think about what he did at Joe Gibbs Racing, a second here 6 years ago, also had a 3rd place finish.
One thing you can see as we look at the front of Blake's car is all the tape that they add for qualifying. And
man, that is throwback color.
They were obviously out of black tape.
Yeah,
on the 35 team.
Back in the early 2000s, that was the look.
Yeah, that's
I wish they would
the
bring
brake
that
ducts and the grill. All the orange tape you see is what they've added from the race trim. Adds a ton of downforce to the front of these cars. You add the air pressure, equals a lot of grip.
Big wiggle there. Blake trying to make his first ever start in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. 3rd is where he slots in after 3 cars have been on track.
Yeah, another car that ran slower than he did in race trim earlier today.
Let's hear from Anthony Alfredo, Dylan.
Yeah, and getting ready to climb aboard the 96. So double duty for you this weekend. I know that the Cup opportunity maybe isn't under the circumstances that you wanted, but how much are you looking forward to just this opportunity that's ahead to run this car and tomorrow?
Yeah, well, first off, best wishes to Alex. I feel really bad for him. I know it's got to be difficult watching someone else be in your car, and he's doing all he can to be back as soon as possible. I know that for sure. So it's an honor to be the guy for the job. I'll keep the seat warm for him and just make sure that I do everything they ask of me. Proud to represent Ally, Hendrick Motorsports, everybody on the 48 team, and Chevrolet. So I've already have an established relationship with them with all the sim work I do, and I've been their backup driver before on standby. I haven't actually gotten in yet, so it's certainly the opportunity of a lifetime, but it's hard to be excited when it's at the mercy of someone else. So right now I'm focused on getting in this number 96 Dude Wipe Chevrolet with Viking Motorsports, getting a good qualifying run. I think practice went well for us. We learned what we needed to for tomorrow to be fast in the race, and that's pretty much it. Got a busy weekend, but all the glory to God. Very thankful.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
I mean, just unbelievable when you think about Anthony and the way he handles a challenging situation. And I hear him talk, and I just think about the way Mr. H does business in that organization. Perfect guy for the job under difficult circumstances.
I liked his response, though, because I filled in for Sterling Marlin when he got hurt 25 years ago, and it was the most awkward situation because you're in someone else's car, and you're in there because they're hurt. And it's such a weird position to be in. But great job. I mean, obviously his head's in the right place, and it's a really big opportunity for him to show what he can do.
While we were visiting with Anthony, Dawson Cram went out in qualifying, driving the 74 for Mike Harmon. He's 3rd of 4 drivers. And here's Chandler Smith in the green, driver that's won here multiple times, multiple series, and had a good practice session earlier this afternoon.
I think this will give us a good example of where the track is at right here. Gained a lot on the entry there.
I almost feel like
keep it up.
In turns 1 and 2, he'd like to do that over again. It was almost like he overslowed the middle down. You saw him cut all the way down across the apron. You'd like to carry a little more momentum, but 28.08, not a terrible lap right there. He was good in practice.
Yeah, not too far off what he ran in practice.
And I think that's good.
Yeah. I think my prediction of not getting to the high 27s was wrong.
I think you're going to be off on that.
I have learned never to predict what's going to happen.
Chandler Smith leads in qualifying, Kim.
Well, Adam LeVar-Scott makes his first O'Reilly Auto Parts Series start at Phoenix, but you've got some ARCA experience here. How different, though, was this car in practice from the experience you have here?
It's very different. It actually took me probably a good 10 to 15 laps, my guy would say, to learn the difference. It's really cool, but it's a lot heavier than it, and you're driving faster, you got to slow it down more, and it takes time to get used to that, a little more than I wanted to, but we should be good here for qualifying.
That ARCA experience, 2 starts here in the ARCA Menard Series, both with top 10 finishes.
He talked about going to the Rockingham test, and he's like, I drove down the corner and I didn't realize how much earlier I had to lift in the O'Reilly car versus the ARCA car, the amount of grip difference. He said that's taken a little bit of time to get used to.
Austin J. Hill.
A little pickup for him.
Yeah, 4th quick.
Yeah, 29.17 in practice down to 28.90. Nice little pickup there.
Some fresh, bright colors on the car for the Ohio native. A couple of drivers that recently got their first career win. Taylor Gray last fall, Sheldon Creed a couple of weeks ago at Atlanta, and Brent Cruz, who may very well do it here tomorrow.
I was going to say 2 Gibbs drivers and 1 former Gibbs driver.
Yeah. A lot of different ways to talk about who's in that conversation. Here's Joey Gase in the 55. I meant that. I'm sorry. What's wrong with that?
Joey Gase here went with the silver tape this time. I think we're definitely out of the black tape.
I like that car, though. Super patriotic. Cool-looking wrap they put on that.
Joey's a blue-collar guy, 33 years old, from Iowa, and has been so much to this series, been so close, on multiple occasions where he had a chance to really make something happen.
He just could not get back to the gas right there. It looked like he really struggled to put the power down.
He's 5th of 7. Official time for Gase, just over 29 seconds. And next up, the 07 Josh Bilicki, the new dad, going to go out and make a qualifying run.
You become a new dad, you go to the track so you can rest up and do your job.
That's right.
You go back home and the real work begins.
So much admiration for the way he goes about his business. Talked earlier about the fact that he and his family live in Wisconsin. He's not made the move to North Carolina. He said if the right opportunity came along, I would do it, but I just want to be close to family, especially now that he has 2 little ones at the house. Wants that family support, and you just love his attitude and approach.
Yeah, look at his hands. That car almost looks a little bit tight. I've seen most of the guys really having to fight it. Josh pulling the wheel up. See that get his right hand getting up to the 12 o'clock position, almost just kind of staying there. It shows you balance that car a little bit tight. He's just having to wait on it, not pick the throttle up until the front grabs.
Josh goes up to 4th, 28.75. Here's Dylan.
Catching up with Jeff Burton, who was fastest in practice just a little bit ago. What did you like about your race car, and how do you think it'll translate here to one-lap speed?
Well, Dylan, I loved it for the first 6-7 laps. I was a little tight, but I think that IndyCar rubber was definitely a lot of grip. And me and the 21 were talking a little bit, and I quartered the right front, he quartered the right front. So I think going early was beneficial being fast, but it hurt our practice, right? So I really don't know what I have here, but it felt good for a couple laps. But got Dish Network back in the sport. That's pretty cool. So excited to carry their colors, and then we got Zone tick repellent on here too. So just excited to show some speed. I know I can go fast if it'll go. So it went there. So hopefully we can back it up and maybe have a shot at the pole if he'll do what it did there.
Thanks, Shep.
My mother's still a proud Dish Network subscriber. Yeah, we were down there talking. I told Jeff in the garage, I'm like, man, I was sponsored by them years ago, and I was like, my mom still uses it, so that's cool to see them back in the sport.
Look at Jeremy Clements jumps to the top. P1 for the 51, 28.024 for the driver from Spartanburg, South Carolina, that really needs something good to happen this week.
He does, and I thought that was going to be in the 27s, the first one, but we've kind of plateaued here, but it was a really good lap.
The one thing I've learned in our show so far and going through the garage today is if we were to make IndyCar rubber the drinking phrase of the day, there would be a lot of drunk people.
We'd be staggering around.
That's exactly right.
I wouldn't be on this broadcast. I'd be passed out underneath the table here.
Here's Austin Green in the 87. And, you go to the first couple of races of the year in the draft. He doesn't have much experience. They survived. But you felt like last week the door opened for them to really get things going in the right direction because he's been so good on road courses, and he's been in the top 10 multiple times at Circuit of the Americas. And then they fight the race car and have a mechanical issue. And gosh, it's just like if it can go wrong, it has gone wrong for this team who's trying to make a go of it year one. And maybe this weekend will bear some fruit for driver 87.
But Austin's done a great job. And I feel like in racing, you tend to always focus on the results, and what you really have to focus on is kind of the weekend and how did you progress? How did you do as a driver? How did you do as a team? And they've done a really nice job. They just haven't gotten the results to show for it.
He's put himself in good positions for a driver that is inexperienced, just haven't been able to get the payoff.
Speaking of a tough start to the season, really tough start for Harrison Burton at Sam Hunt Racing. 34th in points coming into this race. Time to turn it around as we get to what we consider more conventional racetrack here at Phoenix.
It's a great perspective on the right to see the steering wheel movement, see his eyes looking around the corner, and then he'll look up at the wall right here and pick a point out of a reference. Crash into the racetrack, crash back up. That's a great perspective.
Just all goes through your spine, your head.
He drove in there deep.
Between the headrest.
Oh, and it was stuck though. Look at that. It's going to be.
He said it's all about entry speed.
Well, he had plenty right there. Lost a little bit on exit.
Going to the 27s, Parker. 27.86 in practice for Harrison.
Should be close.
Put him up there. And here we go. 27.83. He leads in qualifying.
Great lap.
Good job. 27.84. P1.
Yeah, I think he's going to be happy with that. It's quicker than he ran in practice. He was one of the cars that went out early on. Good lap.
What's going on, Kim?
Yeah, standing here with former Phoenix winner Brandon Jones. Well, when we come here, we expect JGR cars to be fast. So did you guys get everything you wanted out of the car in practice?
We did. We honestly had a really good long run Toyota GR Supra, I thought, at the end of practice. The qualifying session, I know I said this last time and Parker laughed at me and said, what the heck, he goes and sits on the pole, but it's just so finicky here. I know we qualified for the championship race here and it was really hot out. Now we're kind of at dusk, it's cold. I don't know what to expect. I think a lot of grip for this qualifying session, but I'm excited for it. I want to go try to get another pole here. We've got best air on the hood this weekend, along with Menards on the side of our GR Supra. So I'm excited. I know I circle this track every year, and last year we had such a good two-race experience at this place with a third and a fourth place and getting on the pole. So hopefully we can back it up and then get a win tomorrow.
Got called out there. live television.
I'm sure you deserve it.
Well, probably, but you know what? He is really good in qualifying. He always finds extra speed, surprises people often. I wouldn't let him fool you. He could definitely find a pole lap out there in this qualifying session.
Not a bad lap for Nathan Bird.
Big pickup.
Yeah, first time he's been in the series since he raced at Roval fall of 2024. Jumps up to 6th, 28.69.
I know that lap's not going to put him in a great position, but I'll promise you, when you pick up 8/10 from practice, you feel like you did a hell of a job. Yeah.
Left it all out there, boys.
That's right.
Harrison Burton leads the way. Here's his teammate, Dean Thompson.
Yeah, Dean was complaining about not having enough power, feeling like the car was underpowered in practice. Oh, you see getting a little bit loose right there. Gosh, that kills your lap coming to the green. See him cut across the corner.
You know, the lap that he ran in practice, the identical lap that Harrison Burton just ran in qualifying to the 1,000th of a second. And when you look at our tracker,
going to be close.
I mean, he's right there with it.
Really good exit of 2. See if he can have a good 3 and 4 here and make it back up. He gave up a little bit on entry. Can he get back to the throttle?
He gave
Carry
up.
it on exit.
Gosh, he gave up a couple of tenths there through 3 and 4. Puts him third behind Clements.
And you could see the difference in what Harrison talks about, where he was like, I think this is all about entry speed. He definitely did that in 1, gave up some in 2. Dean got there, but then Dean did not quite go as deep into 3 as Harrison did.
13 drivers have been out in qualifying. Let's check with Dylan.
And we'll catch up with Brent Cruz, who is in the 19 again this week before a couple weeks off while he turns 18, and then we'll see him back full-time to end the year in this car. This car won this race last year, so how much of an advantage or a confidence builder is that for you as you studied this week and kind of prepared to tackle this place?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of confidence, right, that the team's bringing a winning car to the racetrack for sure, and just like they do any week. But it's a little bit of pressure too, but that's fine. We had a really good car in practice, and I love coming to Phoenix. So excited to get out there and go qualify and see what we got.
Yeah, he's got some experience in some other cars as well. Brent Cruz in the 19 this weekend, and like we said, off the next 2 weeks before he's back to finish the year.
I think we can safely put Brent Cruz in the Three Amigos group. We saw him at breakfast today with Connor Zillich and Jesse Love all hanging out.
Look at this
lap for Alfredo.
Big lap.
Blistering. Seemed very confident in his interview, and now we know why. AA leads in the 96, 27-67 for Alfredo.
I think the track has shifted now, like starting to clean up some rubber. We
Yep.
see that, at the traditional ovals, the rubber gets laid down for practice. Typically around the 20th car is when you see that transition. I know the cars get a little better, but still great lap for Anthony.
Definitely, and I think part of that, what's speeding up that transition is we're really going into the nighttime here. The sun is basically set behind the grandstands almost entirely. This track is just going to continue to gain grip as we go along.
And we try not to be biased, but Anthony is a great guy. And I think about his Daytona weekend, what looked like it was going to be epic and turned into a disaster. I want him to have a great weekend this weekend here at Phoenix. Could be big for him.
What's your favorite phrase, Parker? The nighttime
is the right time.
That's a Larry Mack
stole that.
phrase.
I gave him credit.
That's a Larry Mack phrase.
Hey, look at our bumper. 15th, Ryan Ellis. You see the DNS.
His lap.
He did not make a qualifying run. 02 has gone back to the garage.
Kyle's got a great lap going right here. See what he can do in 3 and 4. Gave up a little bit. Still a good lap.
Sieg to second. Kyle, the 28, right behind Alfredo. 27-81.
Midnight on the hood there.
The nighttime.
Midnight special, I was going to say.
Kim?
And it's been a great start to the season for Brennan Poole, coming off a season best finish of 10th at COTA. But as we think about Phoenix, how do you make a sweet qualifying lap here at this racetrack?
Well, the guys have brought me a pretty fast toxic waste hazardously sour candy. I've got some toxic waste candy right here in my hand. Try to light myself up here before I go make this qualifying lap. But no, the guys have done a great job. We've had a great start. Our cars have been a little bit better. So hopefully we just keep the momentum rolling and get another solid top 10. Oh my! Look at you guys up there. I hope Jamie's lighting himself up tonight too. I got to hear that in the broadcast later. I'm gonna go back and watch it, Jamie. There you go. It's empty.
He said Parker ate all of his.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I can see that. Parker likes the sour candy too. So yeah, we'll just see what we can do tonight. Got going out late, so maybe it'll give me an extra couple tenths and give us a great starting spot for tomorrow.
You know, when we qualified here in the fall, it was Halloween, so that would have been the perfect time to break out the toxic waste candy. Nick Sanchez goes to 4th, just over 28 seconds.
Parker was digging through there. He likes the one that you lick. It's like the deodorant.
Oh, well.
The rules did not,
sour.
Despite the fact we did the bit, the rules don't change, Parker. You don't eat on the air.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Whoops.
Hey, I'm going to go to this. Someone that's off to a great start is Brennan Poole, right? I mean, top 20s and had the 10th last week. And
well, in Daytona came so close.
Yeah,
almost getting to victory lane.
Right in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it for that team. Love it for this team, too. Viking Motorsports and Parker Retzlaff, who made his debut here in 2022 and qualified 6th. His teammate leading in qualifying right now. Parker putting a good one together.
He has so much speed and has, since coming to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, always such a great qualifier.
Just fell away there off of 2. He used a lot of racetrack. You saw he had a lot of wheel in it towards the exit. It just killed the exit. Now loose off of 4. That lap just fell away from him throughout the lap. But it started with that. He looked like it got super tight off of 2, and it just killed his run down the backstretch, and then he was trying to make up for it in 3 and 4, but to no avail. Usually, he is definitely one to watch in qualifying.
Everybody in the top 10 in our bumper now locked in on speed. 40 cars here, 32 lock in on speed. If you beat 8, you are in. So if you look at the top 10 in the bumper, everybody there will race tomorrow as we welcome to the track the 2017 champion making his first start of the year, William Byron, driving the 88 for Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, to me, this will be the example of where is the racetrack. We know this car incredibly fast. Byron's won here before. He always has speed. Where's that tracker? Yeah, already tracking in the green.
How about we get Larson tomorrow, or excuse me, we get Byron tomorrow in the 88, Larson next Saturday at Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, look at this exit at 2.
Sort of there.
Yeah. Kind of going back and forth, a little red, a little green.
It's all going to come down this exit off of 4.
Alfredo had an incredible 3 and 4, though.
Yeah, I mean, this makes a big statement about the lap for Alfredo. Good lap for Byron to second, 27.74. But gosh, what a great job for that 96 team to be up there. Let's hear from the other driver of the 88, Raja Caruth, hanging with Dylan.
Yeah, and he just said, man, this is so weird watching this car drive around here. He's been in the 88 the last 3 weeks. So you're in the Jordan Anderson 32 car today. Looked good in practice. Do you feel like you have something maybe hang with the car you've been in the last couple of weeks? It just went second.
Yeah, certainly hope so, Dylan. I felt good about our iRacing Chevy. It's honestly, as a kid, like playing all the NASCAR games growing up, it's cool to have both iRacing and NASCAR 25 on the whip. So hopefully we have a good run tonight and tomorrow. You know, we lost a lot of points last week with how COTA ended for us, so I'm looking to just maintain over the next couple of weeks and stay within the top 6 in points. But yeah, excited for the opportunity with Jordan Anderson Racing and Bommarito Autosport and to stay in the Chevrolet camp. So should be a lot of fun the next few races.
Thanks, Roger.
3 straight in the 32. We talked earlier about LeVar Scott, in the midst of his college career and taking classes. I mean, Raj's already graduated from college, so just so much credit to him for how he's balanced every aspect of his life. And LeVar here goes 11th on the board.
He looked viciously loose into turn 1. He pitched
had
the car off, and then it was
big
really
moment
tight through the middle. He was hanging on.
It tried to step away from him in a big way, and we talk about being loose in that corner. You're braking while turning. The car gets a ton of front load. The rear gets very light. It's common to think you're loose there, but as he came off the wall, that car had a big wiggle, which can get away from you in a big way down in that corner with a lot of speed, and you won't get it back. Here, take a look at it. So he comes across through the dog leg. You do this, it's worth a 10th to go through the dog leg, even though it upsets your entry here. But right here, whoa. So that doesn't look as that.
It looked worse from
it was
the front.
other camera angle that really made it look worse, and that's a moment you don't want to have.
48, Patrick Starpoli.
Yeah, he's getting some driving tips from Parker down the garage.
I
feel like he's leaning on you a lot.
I know, and I don't hear for sure. I'm not the man to ask. I will be honest. So,
well, you just think of the learning curve that he's going through coming to these tracks for the first time. You get 50 minutes of practice. Then they're like, all right, now go out and try to run your fastest lap of the weekend in qualifying. It's so hard what he's trying to do, but he does a really good job, I think, of driving within what his ability is on that particular weekend or that lap of the race. Hasn't been a story because of any incidents. I think he's done a spectacular job for the amount of experience that he has.
Just past halfway in qualifying. Starpoli 10th right now as we go to Kim.
Yeah, standing here with who I'll dub the king of the desert, 2-time Phoenix winner, Justin Allgaier. Although it feels like you should have 10 wins here, honestly. As you think about, though, the car you had in practice, does it have race-winning speed?
Yeah, I think so. We're really proud of this team. Everybody on this 7, Brent Fisher, I called Chevrolet. I feel like we waited for a long time. The IndyCar rubber is very different from what our Goodyear tires are. So we waited for a while. It's hard to know what everybody's balances are going to do, once the race starts. But just past history and knowledge here, I felt like our car drove as good as I could ask for it to. Andrew Overstreet and this whole 7 team, though, they've done a great job. Everybody back at Junior Motorsports, the Hendrick Engine Shop. I mean, just really proud of the effort that we put in. We've had speed every week. We don't necessarily have the finishes to show for it all the time, but this is one of those places where you circle on your schedule every year and you know that you're going to come here and have a great weekend, hopefully.
That is not what the other drivers wanted to hear when she said, how does your car feel? Can you win? And without hesitation, he's like, absolutely. Must have felt pretty good in practice.
Mason Maggio, 21st in qualifying.
Justin also said IndyCar rubber. Yeah, so that was another drink for you, Jamie.
Have another one.
Yep.
Perrier is going down nicely.
All right, here we go.
Especially with a vodka topper.
Jeb Burton led the way in practice, 27.72. Best lap so far in qualifying, Anthony Alfredo, 27.67.
Well, you see he turned in, got down on the apron. Probably turned a little better than what he was expecting. I think that's good, though. It means the car's gripped up. See what he can do down here. Look at the smoke and the dust come out from underneath that.
Gives you the indication.
Dude, good lap. Yep. Look at this on the bottom.
Threw it in there with a lot.
He threw it way in there.
Back down and turned. Oh, it's going up the racetrack a little bit. That's for the lap time.
Still close. Still close.
Going to come down to 3 and 4.
Maybe he can adjust from the first lap here.
It went the right direction, then it flipped the other way.
Bad.
Not going to get to the top, but third. is pretty impressive. 27.77 for Jeb Burton, the first Chevrolet out from Jordan Anderson Racing in qualifying.
I think he'd be happy with that,
Definitely,
though.
but he couldn't quite get it rotated there through 1 and 2 to be able to get back to the throttle. He had a ton of entry speed and was in the right position. It's not like he went up the racetrack too much, but sort of got back to the throttle. The car didn't rotate, was stuck on the right front and just used more space than he probably wanted to. As we see this, look how hard that is. Look at the side skirt flex.
Yeah. I mean,
my goodness.
You said it's worth a tenth, Parker.
Yeah.
It's a heavy price to pay.
It is.
I mean, you talk about taking one for the team.
There's plenty of crew chiefs who I've worked with who cringe every time they see it.
This is going to get my vote best looking car of the year so far. It looks pretty good, especially under the lights. The Hunter Orange.
Hey,
yes, not Dayglow orange, I've learned.
The tracker liked him too. He was green, but then kind of flipped the other way as he got into turn 1.
Be a little bit tight down there in turns 1, but got a good run off. You see gaining a little bit. The one thing that I've noticed, and he actually gained on entry, which was unique because Alfredo's beat everybody on entry.
Yeah, he went way up the track here.
Paid the
give
price.
all that back. Absolutely just YOLO'd it into 3 a little bit.
YOLO'd. That's a millennial term.
That is.
Adam, I don't think that's
like a 2016 term. You know, the 2016 trend on Instagram, that would have been the term.
I'm just going to put a period on this by saying Quapple is 6th right now. Dylan?
Let's catch up with Corey Day quickly here as we approach the end of qualifying. Starting to get back to some racetracks that you're returning to for the second time. Phoenix is one of those. Did that help you feel more comfortable kind of right out of the gate here today?
Yeah, it does. You just kind of have a good idea of what you're going to feel there. We struggled for pace a little bit. Not sure, what was the cause, if it was a rubber, hot track, whatever it was. So, yeah, we'll get it right and, see how we qualify here.
And he's got to climb aboard the 17 car and see what it's got here in qualifying.
Well, and Dylan referenced the fact that, he's going to tracks for the second time, Las Vegas next week, where he finished in the top 5. So this is good for him.
The one thing that I've learned about Corey in the last few weeks is when he does these interviews on TV, you can tell he's focused about getting in the car. He's very short, very brief, and you get a different person than what we saw down in the garage earlier today. A little bit of a concern there, I think, from the pace that they had, but judging off what they've done all year, he's going to be fine in the race.
But I don't get the impression he's nervous. Like, I don't get that sense. He's just so calm and focused. Yeah, I think focus is the best term. Like, he's just focused
thinking about what's getting ready to happen. Yeah, that's exactly right.
17 team was on the pole here last spring with Alex Bowman behind the wheel, so they've got a great history.
See, talking to Adam Wall right there. Adam's done a tremendous job with every driver that he's had in that car.
Blaine Perkins made his qualifying run. He's 11th right now. Top 20 last week at Circuit of the Americas, celebrating his 26th birthday. And here's Ryan Sieg. If you go back to last year, I said this during practice, he had that top 5 finish. But he did that after they ran in qualifying on Saturday morning, went into the garage, and the splitter caught the lip of the garage. They had to, make all those repairs to get him in a position to race. And he was still able to come back and finish inside the top 5.
Good lap.
Brother Kyle's 4th, and he's putting a good one on the board.
Really good lap right there. Only about a 10th off down the backstretch. But again, everybody's losing that lap time. Anthony was able to get in really deep, get to the apron or get to the left front on the line.
Yeah, Anthony just nailed 3 and 4. It's
great lap.
Wild to watch as you see a lot of guys get so close to him down in 1 and 2.
Nervous right
I know, he's like,
I'm sorry,
on.
Anthony.
And I think you said it best with how Daytona went earlier this year, where you make the 500, you're taken out of that. This great opportunity that RCR Alliance and Viking Motorsport doesn't make the race, has to jump in a different
and
car.
the fact that Byron's already run, he's like, hey,
all right,
I got a shot.
I have a shot at this.
Smile, kid.
Nah, he's all game right now.
That's right.
Here's Kim.
And the last time we were at Phoenix, it was Jesse Love getting the win to take the title. So what does it feel like to be back at the site of your championship?
Yeah, it's, as an athlete now you have to become pretty detached from, that moment, right? So you don't get complacent and you come here with a fresh mind and a curious mind. So I feel like I've accomplished that. Obviously, I still have the confidence about it and the belief in my ability. All that stuff's great, but from that exact moment, I've tried to become a little bit detached from it, but it was still really special. And we have a lot of confidence in our car, and the DWC Camaro was really fast today. So wasn't super happy with my balance. So to still have the speed that we had gives us a lot of confidence for tomorrow, because I think overnight we can fine-tune it.
Very deep answer by
Very deep.
Jesse Love right
He's
there.
all about the mental side
ready,
of this. And he talks about that often with the work he does with Josh Wise, and he's constantly talking about his mindset and the mental part of this. But also great lap by Gabe Smithley there, up to 10th. Really good lap.
Hey, I want to go back to Jesse Love's interview post-COTA because they were in the game late. Felt like they maybe had a chance to go up there and get his first win of the year. Ends up in the top 5. Kim interviews him after the race, and he's like, we felt like we were doing a good job, and then SVG goes and does that witchcraft thing, whatever he does. I just thought it was so funny. Hey, we talked to Brandon Jones. Know he's a good qualifier here. He's won at this track, as Kim pointed out.
Yeah,
sealed it off into one.
It's stuck, and it
Look
rotated.
At the lap.
Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, it stayed so low off of 2. This is really pretty.
He can tell he knows.
At it. Oh, look how much he gave up in 3 and 4, but it's going to come around.
First driver from Joe Gibbs Racing, Brandon Jones, says, give me P1. Anthony Alfredo said, don't do that to me.
Hey, Anthony, at least it's not close. Because those are the ones that sting the most when it's like a thousandth of a second.
That's right. You got him by a tenth. 27-58 for the driver from Atlanta, Georgia. Dylan, what's going on?
Catching up with the guy who will be our last qualifier here in just a little bit. That's Austin Hill in the 21. So what kind of advantage is getting to watch all of these guys go out and run tonight, maybe more so than other places?
I mean, I just think that track's getting cooler, so I should be gaining grip, getting a little bit faster. So I think we have that on our side as an advantage. But yeah, I'm able to kind of see what some of these guys are doing here. Was able to look at a little bit of SMT early before walking over here. So track's fast and it's gripped up right now. So looking forward to it. It's one of these places you have to go out, drive in the corner really deep, put it right on the tire, and hope that it's enough. So hopefully our Bennett Chevrolet is good. We had some good speed in practice, but we didn't have the greatest long run speed. So we'll see where we end up in qualifying and go from there and try to make the best decisions for tomorrow.
Thanks, Austin.
That was a solid lap by Sam Mayer, considering all the power steering issues they had in practice. Never really got
a good feel for
what he
needed, yeah.
And was really good down 1 and 2. Sailed it off in there.
It was
no
intense,
hesitation,
wasn't it? Watching him,
and he was working it. But I think some of the hand movement you saw was that he hadn't really felt the car working, and we don't know if that maybe that power steering issue is still there slightly. So he's had a lot of hand movement in that car, trying to feel where it was at. And you'll do that when you're uncertain, where you don't know what you have.
That's how you get the feel.
Yeah, you kind of
wheel, a little less.
A little less, a little more. It gives you sort of an idea of what level of grip there is.
Taylor Gray was good last time we were here in qualifying as well. Brandon Jones, his teammates first right now. Look at that tracker, tracking the right way. It's gonna be really close.
Look how that.
It's all about turn 3 for him. He's gonna have a little bit in the bank. Can he get in deep enough to turn 3? Get that left front right down on the line. Hook it. It's looking pretty good. It's looking really good right now. A little bit loose.
They shared the front row in the fall, and if they do it again tomorrow, it's going to be a role reversal. Jones had the pole in November. Taylor Gray to the top here, 27:53, a blistering lap for this young driver from New Mexico.
And if you want to know why Joe Gibbs Racing has 18 wins here at Phoenix, what that car just displayed, and his teammate Brandon Jones, the way the left front just hooks the yellow line there, rotates the car to the middle. For whatever reason, at these flat tracks, Joe Gibbs Racing creates grip, gets those cars to rotate. As we get another shot of one here with Brent Cruz going out, it's just a great example of what makes them so good at these tracks.
Yeah, Brent's got a little bit of history here, winning some ARCA races. Actually won the ARCA race last time we were here. In a great car. Look at that, coming to the line. Look what he has right here. See if he can. Oh, he drifts up just a little bit, maybe got it a little high. You see the tracker going the wrong direction. Maybe it'll come back, gets a good exit. No, it's bleeding off the wrong way.
First of 10 to go in qualifying. Brent Cruz in the 19. His teammates are 1-2, and he's going to be a bit behind him. Fourth is where he goes.
Still a decent lap, but just maybe overdrove. Looked to me like turn 22. It felt so good coming to the green.
He had the fastest run to the green of anyone.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
right.
He probably didn't realize how much speed that was. Didn't know the grip level down into 1, but still a good lap.
Gibbs first, second, and fourth. It's going to be a story all all weekend of how good they are here, not just in the O'Reilly Series, but also the Cup cars that'll run on Sunday.
Fourth Joe Gibbs driver coming up, William Sawalich. First, Brennan Poole, fresh off a top 10 at COTA and driving the Candy Mobile for Alpha Prime.
Like our candy delivery man each time. And I appreciate it. I do like sour candy. Good start to this season.
Good in practice, 11th in practice.
Yep.
Actually has a great lap going here.
Oh,
He's fighting it loose in. Oh, he lost 3/10 down there. Looks so good on entry.
You could just tell how long he had to wait to get back to the throttle, let the car settle down through the center.
Saw Chip Ganassi here this weekend with IndyCar competing at Phoenix. And you think about Brennan Poole, some of his best runs at Phoenix.
Without a doubt.
Came when he was driving for Chip. 13th in qualifying. 8 cars remain. Some big names still to go out and make their effort in qualifying, and the first will be William Sawalich. Started 6th here a year ago, qualified 6th here a year ago, but because of a mechanical issue had to drop to the rear. And boy, what a gorgeous night it is here in the Valley of the Sun.
Anything prettier than a sunset at a racetrack. And whatever reason, it's got to be the fumes, something creates just the most beautiful sunsets.
William Sawalich didn't race here in the fall. Had those concussion-like symptoms after the crash at Talladega. So he missed the last couple of races of the year. Great to have him back. And I would say overall solid start to the year. They've not gotten the finishes they deserved. Really nice effort to battle back last Saturday and chasing his teammates for a spot up front.
Different approach down in 1 and 2, went below the yellow line there onto the apron. His teammates didn't do that. It looked like it worked through the center, but gave it up on the exit. Oh, and got a lot of the apron there. That paint has some grip, but it over-rotated the car. Couldn't get back to the throttle. Ends up 11th. I think he'll look back at that lap, and maybe he wanted to try those things and do something different. But it was a lot of things different than what we saw from his teammates who are 1 through 4.
Yeah, but they're going to get the win for side skirt of the year right here. Look at when he went through that dogleg. Those teams will intentionally make it so that those flare out, and the more you can get, it creates a little more side force for the car.
I think NASCAR would.
That's what everybody wants.
They'll have a comment on that, making that a little bit straighter.
They're going to be mad that we're showing it. This is what's happening there. Yeah.
Sheldon Creed got a good history at Phoenix. Won here in the Truck Series. Went on to win the title in 2020. One of his 15 runner-up finishes in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series came here in 2023. And it's so much more enjoyable to give that runner-up stat now that he's been to victory lane. So thrilling when he pulled it off a few weeks ago at Atlanta and delivering in qualifying. A lot of green there.
Got a run to the green, went to the high side in 3 and 4 to get that run.
Oh, and got crushed down there.
But you know what? It did remind me that most likely this 00 will be the first to the high side of this racetrack.
He'll be
race
searching
tomorrow.
No doubt. He'll be searching.
Good start to the lap, not a great finish, 12th.
Yeah, his 3 and 4 wasn't too far off. It almost looked like Brent Cruz's lap where he had such a good run to the green. Got a little excited down in turn 1, overdrove it, and just wasn't able to stay on the bottom.
I want you to look at the bumper in the top 10 right now. I mean, a great Joe Gibbs Racing presence up there, 3 of the top 4, but Viking Motorsports is there with Alfredo, Junior Motorsports with William Byron. And you got Jordan Anderson Racing with Jeb Burton, RSS Racing, Kyle Sieg, Sam Hunt has got a presence. So just a lot of different teams up there inside the top 10. Here's Raja Karuth in the 32.
And you mentioned Jeb Burton being 6th right now. Raja was 5th in practice. It's his first weekend in this Jordan Anderson Racing car. Again, came to the green really well. We've seen that recently. Using all the racetracks.
Unsettled.
Carried the momentum in, but missed the bottom right there. He's going to pay a huge penalty on exit.
Oh! He's not done yet. Kept it going.
Deep breath.
Who said qualifying is boring? Forget about it. Raja Karuth all over the place. Somehow he hangs on to it and brings it back 20th.
He's going to want to do that one over again.
Yeah, so I noticed that Jeb's car, his teammate, was really low. And if you look back, we talked about how remarked how harsh it hit the ground. So watch when he goes up back on the banking here. This car's really low. And see how it bounces and hits the ground? It completely
that's not normal.
Bottomed out. So I believe these Jordan Anderson Racing cars are just very low compared to what we've seen out of some others, and he just wasn't expecting that at all.
5 to go in qualifying.
First up. Side. It's normally corn. What is that?
They change it for the region.
What is that? Is it cotton? Cotton.
It is cotton.
It is cotton.
I know Andrew Overstreet told me, but I couldn't remember.
Well, you were no help then.
I was none at all.
You were zero help.
No, I just knew I'd been told what it was, but I couldn't exactly remember.
I don't expect to see Allgaier be this pole contender, but what I do expect is around lap 15 tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
For us to come on and say 7 car's the fastest car on the track, because that is the history of him at this track. Not short run speed, but he will be really good on the long run in the race. And they tend to get better as the race goes on as well.
His Junior Motorsports teammate up there in 5th, William Byron. Allgaier 13th.
Got a little work to do tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, I think maybe a little disappointed in that. You know,
Sure.
I would say what you're saying for sure, especially when he qualifies in the top 10, that sort of thing. But that could fall out of the top 15 here.
4 to go. Corey Day, Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, Austin Hill.
I hope you didn't jinx Corey Day today when we were talking.
What is that?
You guys were talking about qualifying and had he's not wrecking in qualifying. I was like, oh, my guy, I hope we don't jinx him.
Okay.
If he spins out, he'll never talk to you.
Parker's done.
Well, that's most of the garage anyway. Yeah.
Look at the results, though, on the bottom right. You see 27th at Daytona, but then 4th and 5th at a drafting-style track and then a road course. And he mentioned earlier today he thought he would do well at the road courses just because he had a little bit of history in the Trans Am cars and then also at Sonoma last year. But he's been good. A lot of different racetracks, guys, and just continues to get better. Has a little bit of a racing etiquette to clean up, but overall, I think he's done an exceptional job.
Good 1 and 2.
Didn't overdrive the car.
Bowman started on the pole in the 17 last year. Talked about that earlier. And a solid effort in qualifying
really
for
good.
Corey Day puts him 6th.
I mean, considering where he was in practice, unsure about the speed in that race car. I mean, this is why, you know, what we've seen out of him that's been so impressive. It's the speed category. It's the speed at which he learns and adapts and figures this out. That was a really impressive lap, considering what they had in practice and where they were, and just, you know, his overall lack of experience in these cars and these type of situations.
Good start to the year for Sammy Smith. Pair of top 5s, got his first career win here at Phoenix. The final car to qualify from Junior Motorsports.
See him having to really hustle that car. See what kind of a run he can get down towards 1 and 2. Again, see a lot of guys having a great run. Can he keep it on the bottom? Uses a little bit of apron. Seemed solid on the wheel a little bit, but it hooked pretty well.
It did, but it's all
Just waited a long time to get back to the throttle.
You've got to put it so little throttle earlier than you even feel comfortable at all to try and get the best run.
A little better in 3 and 4.
Yeah, really good effort.
Missed the bottom a little bit, went up.
Still a good lap.
Really good lap.
Super critical because it wasn't a pole running speed, but he still ends up 6th overall, only a couple tenths off the pole.
It looked so good. You thought maybe it would be kinder on the stopwatch, but it's overall a really good lap, though.
2 to go, both from Richard Childress Racing, the reigning champ and the man who leads the championship after 3 races this year. Jesse Love, then Austin Hill. And 2 teammates from RCR chasing the teammates from Joe Gibbs Racing. Gray and Jones currently have the top 2 spots.
Well, and what a start it's been for RCR, being 1st and 2nd in the points right now. The defending champs. I know we talked all about Junior Motorsports, but Richard Childress Racing, some really fast cars, some great drivers over there. Jesse Love with another great run to the green. Gets into 1, you see him right on the line. That looks really smooth. Look at the tracker. It's just barely off.
Good.
Still in contention, though. Just has to have a really good 3 and 4. Has the entry speed. Can he get back to the throttle? It's going to be close.
1 here in November, trying to pick up where he left off. Second. Missed it by 100th of a second.
We thought the same thing.
Good lap.
Close only counts in horseshoes, tell him, Taylor.
He breaks up that Joe Gibbs Racing duo at the front. So Gray leads Love, and 1 to go Austin Hill, who showed a lot of speed in practice, but he was one of those drivers that went out early on that IndyCar rubber that we anticipate added some speed, created some grip.
He was already in the car, so he doesn't quite get to see what Jesse Love was able to do there. Well, been told the time most likely, but doesn't know exactly how he tackled the track.
See, he's working on it though. Sawing those hands back and forth. That car's right on the verge of losing grip. Doesn't quite have the run to the green that we saw out of his teammate Jesse Love. Ooh, on the apron right there, then washes up. That's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Yeah, he tried to almost diamond it a little bit, couldn't quite get it back down, and we've seen this repeatedly. Once you don't get that run off of 2, it just penalizes you.
You're all good, Taylor. Austin Hill brings it back. 13th is where he will start tomorrow. And on the pole is Taylor Gray, 4th career pole for him. And all 4 of his poles have come at different tracks, Kim.
That's right, and Taylor Gray will lead the field to green tomorrow. You were a little nervous there, but you did have pole winning speed. How do you translate that into a race win here at Phoenix?
Yeah, I honestly felt like our car was really good on the long run too, so that's always a good feeling, right? Especially after you have that good qualifying pace. So really proud of Jason Ratcliffe and the whole 54 boys. Brought a really fast Operation 300 GR Supra. So yeah, excited to get to the race tomorrow and get battle for a win. I know I was a little nervous. My buddy Jesse, pretty much had me, I think, but yeah.
You seem a little carefree. Obviously the car has speed, so what will be the concern tomorrow?
I think just keeping up with the track, right, as it cools down is going to be the biggest thing for me and what I'm focused on. So just got to study a little bit tonight and get it dialed in.
P1 for Taylor Gray, Dylan.
And Jesse Love will start on the outside of the front row, or second tomorrow. You were laughing at Taylor, said felt like you maybe had him. Do you feel like you had him, and if not, for maybe just a mistake there?
Yeah, I don't think there's many mistakes. I mean, I felt like we both put together a pretty good lap on the tire, and happy for Taylor and Jason. But yeah, all in all, really happy with our DWC Camaro. Proud of all the guys at ECR. Everybody back in Welcome, North Carolina. I think we got a great car. Haven't been super happy with it today for how fast we've been. So obviously that's a huge confidence boost for tomorrow, because I know that me and Danny can go in there, look at all of our info, and kind of nickel and dime it to death. So yeah, I think that we probably had it a little bit too cold engine-wise, because it probably wasn't quite up to temp in 1 and 2. So all in all, happy with the day. Good productive day for us, and we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
Last November in the race, you guys worked on your car a lot throughout the entire race. Good chance you're going to have to do that tomorrow with the rubber and the changing conditions. So how much confidence does that give you that you guys can get it to where you need it to at the end of the day?
Yeah, a ton of confidence. Even I look back at some races last year, like the Charlotte Oval. We were terrible in practice, so we can always just go back and look at our info and make educated decisions and get our car a lot better. So yeah, I think we can get it a lot better for even tomorrow. We kind of know what we needed to do in the fall last year to get better, and I think we have the same idea for tomorrow. And we can make a couple small adjustments to get us even better on the long run.
2 cars, a good view of the front. They will start second tomorrow.
You look at Joe Gibbs Racing on the pole. That's 250 poles all time. Taylor Gray gets it done, and he referenced really good on the long run as well. He's going to be dangerous here tomorrow. Let's look at the starting lineup.
Well, no surprise that Gibbs was good. Anthony Alfredo is kind of the story of qualifying for me. Got a big weekend filling in for Alex Bowman on the Cup side. Puts together an incredible lap here on the O'Reilly side. Brent Cruz, 17 years old. You see the inside of row number 3. William Byron going to start beside him.
Jeb Burton backed up that P1 in practice, being there in the top 10. His cousin there, Harrison Burton, on row 6. And Sam Mayer, after all those power steering issues, a great lap by him. Justin Allgaier, 17th in qualifying. I think it's a little further back than they expected to be.
It's going to be a lot of work for Justin Allgaier, no doubt. Garrett Smithley had a great run. Went out early in that session. You see Chandler Smith right there below him. Incredible in the trucks. Austin Green, Patrick Starpoli never raced here before. LeVar Scott had that massive moment getting into turn 1.
Here are the drivers that come from the back. You got Retzloff there, Balicki, a couple of Wisconsin drivers. Once again, congratulations to Josh, new baby at home. And Blake Lothian and Josh Williams fail to make the show. They will not race here tomorrow. Going to be a fun Saturday afternoon in Phoenix, and we'll continue the trend, I'm sure, on what has been an unbelievable start to 2026.
It's go time at Daytona!
Green flag, green flag.
Here we go.
The late start. We got to check out the back. Jeremy Clemens has spun around.
Look out!
Wow.
And there's trouble.
Oh, William Wallace. Corey Day involved. Austin Hill. He gets his 4th
Speedway welcoming race 2 of the season.
Night racing in Atlanta is a whole different animal.
Crazy, chaotic.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
crap. Oh, I saw him
there
chase
goes.
it. 8's around. There goes Austin Hill. He's going to do it. Sheldon Creed delivers at Atlanta.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go. Unbelievable.
Got to execute all day, and we'll be good.
We are green at Circuit of the Americas.
The thing about this place, a lot of contact. It's just full of treachery out there. Trouble, trouble.
And he's taking care of business here today. Shane Van Gisbergen wins it at Circuit of the Americas. SVG able to get it done last week. 10 road course wins in a row for Junior Motorsports, and now the scene shifts here to Phoenix Raceway, a track where Joe Gibbs Racing has been so dominant. Look at the numbers. They lead in every category.
I feel like there needs to be an asterisk over there that says Kyle Busch.
Okay. We had to put that
like
up.
it kind of skews those numbers a little bit.
10 of those are Kyle Busch's, of those 18 wins. But I still think then you have a multitude of other drivers who have been able to be successful here for Joe Gibbs Racing. That tells me it wasn't only Kyle, or he led them down a path that allowed them to be so good.
10 for Kyle Busch, 4 for Jason Ratcliffe as a crew chief, who's the all-time leader in the series and will be calling the shots tomorrow for Taylor Gray. I'll make him the early favorite. All right, we look forward to bringing it to you tomorrow. It's race 4 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. NASCAR Countdown Live with Carla Metz comes your way on CW at 6:30 Eastern Time. Thanks for watching. Great work downstairs, Dylan Welch and Kim Kuhn. With the guys in the booth, Jamie McMurray, the 2004 winner here, and Parker Kligerman. I'm Adam Alexander. We'll see you tomorrow on CW. Congratulations, Taylor Gray, top of the board in qualifying in the desert.